You're missing out if you haven't seen this. Was The View just served a taste of their own medicine? Well, just a couple weeks ago, rapper Killer Mike had apparently had enough of the passive-aggressive political cornering from Sunny Hostin, and it gave us one of the most satisfying moments of pushback from him that I've ever seen. There's a larger backdrop I dug up leading up to this, which I need to tell you about. I'm a big Run the Jewels fan. But first, watch Sunny bring up a contentious and unsettling legal matter around Killer Mike's temporary arrest at this month's Grammys to try and put Mike on the back foot before her question.
What I'm going to ask you is, there was an incident at the Grammys. Mm-hmm. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested. That was wrong. Obviously, it's an ongoing legal matter, so I don't know how much you can say about it.
Well, as a prosecutor, you know I can't say it.
You can't say much. But can you just give us some sort of description, because people are talking too much.
I think the backstage was overcrowded. I think the winners were exuberant. And I think security got a little overzealous, and that's all. It's water under the bridge for me. Yeah. I'd like to say all of my heroes have been in handcuffs: Malcolm, Martin, Mandela, Medgar. So,
There was hardly any good reason for Sunny to bring that up. Killer Mike's brief arrest at the night of the Grammys was a result of an altercation at a stall backstage, but the visuals that came out after he swept the awards in his nominated categories were certainly not a good look for his fans. Video showed the police escorting him out of the building with handcuffs on, and people were confused and wondering what had happened. It's not a scene or precedent that people remembered, even when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars almost 2 years ago. What's intriguing is that of all the people on the panel, Sunny Hostin as an attorney herself would even ask him about an unresolved matter that she knows he can't speak openly about. But I think it became apparent where the panel was trying to take it, because Alyssa Farah Griffin quickly segued into the political stances that Killer Mike has taken in recent years, especially around the work that he's done to uplift Black Americans in the country.
You got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
What's my holdup? Well, first of all, I think everyone should focus on hyper-local. We get caught up in the soap opera of federal elections, and that's fine. But if you are concerned with the federal election, you don't know who your city council or your wardsman is, you don't know who your mayor is, and you don't have a good list of state representatives or governor, then you're just a part of whoever wins the Super Bowl or fanfare. So my most important election is going to be in about a year and a half for who's my mayor going to be. I think that Andre Dickens is doing a great job around housing in Atlanta, and I don't want that to be lost. Even though we have a Republican governor, Brian Kemp, I have a good relationship with him. I like what he's done in terms of Georgia business.
Do you see the libertarian spirit there starting to envelop his politics? I think away from the charged or political answer he could have given, this was the best middle road he chose that resonates down to the individual level. It's also kind of telling the way Alyssa phrased that question, almost making him feel like he's falling out of the line by not openly coming out to endorse Joe Biden. As you can imagine, it can irk someone that's thinking much farther and larger than the petty politicized theater that hogs the attention of millions of people. Plus, I also think it's a slight signal of his evolved political worldview. When you're more focused on who's running your local district, municipality, or city, it means you understand that someone like a president, who's many layers removed from your life, ultimately does not have a direct and immediate impact above your own actions. That's the first step toward being disillusioned with much of the political theater that you see. I think comparing it to a Super Bowl or sports match, as Mike just did, is an apt analogy, where different sides are rooting for different teams. But apparently all of this political nuance from Killer Mike fell on deaf ears, and that's what you see in this next question from Sunny Hostin after Mike dared to appreciate the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, for his policies in the state of Georgia.
You lost me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you this.
Not support of Kemp. That's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you like his policies.
Well, I support
some specific ones he named.
Beyond it, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. If someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people. I have to do that.
That was almost painful to watch. Mike certainly didn't hold back his frustration, and it's actually surprising how quiet Sunny even got when implicitly called out for lying. It's certainly a light bulb moment to realize how quickly people can turn when you fall out of the acceptable political line. What's also a light bulb moment for a lot of people is realizing just how unsafe their retirement and investment portfolios are. in the chaos of the world today, and you need the time-tested shelter of precious metals, so that's exactly why a company like Birch Gold can help you. Click the link in the description or text the word FFIRA to 989898 to learn more. And by the way, if you think that kind of political saddling is new to the panel like The View, you'd be wrong. We've seen something similar before when another great rapper, Ice Cube, fell out of favor with The View hosts for shifting more into the political right of center. But you see a common thread between both Ice Cube and Killer Mike, because both of them have active political stances and activism on top of being popular figures in the music industry. They've reached out to the other side for the betterment of their own community and taken a lot of heat for it. You know what happens when you feel politically suffocated from the moment you step out of line? You want to take larger steps and truly explore what's out there. Perhaps that's where the modern left is going wrong in its obsession with identity politics. It's alienating many of the minority communities that it used to stand for. Multiple polls from Pew Research have suggested that 22% of Black Americans say that they would consider voting for Donald Trump in the 2024 election. That is up from just 8% in 2020 and just 6% back in 2016. There's obviously something wrong with the Democratic messaging to minority groups in the country, and perhaps Sunny Hostin's loaded questions are a live example of that. It's clear that someone like Killer Mike is not interested in boxing himself into a corner, instead choosing to listen and cooperate with the other side, even if he doesn't agree with them. We saw that spirit in action just a few years ago when Killer Mike and Candace Owens were part of a panel discussion where the audience just wouldn't let Candace make her points about how to uplift Black America. In a heartwarming moment, Mike actually stopped the audience and talked some sense into people that were refusing to listen to opinions different from their own.
The single motherhood rate in the 1960s in Black America, and they thought that.
Now,
hold on. I want to finish this.
This is on your behalf. At a certain point, we can't be. At a certain point, these are Black men and women, and in particular, these are Black women. On some real G shit. It doesn't matter how you feel about her personally, but you cannot take the truth and be mad at who tells it to you. So just chill, bruh. Shut the up, let her say it, and receive the information. That's it.
Killer Mike represents one of the many names in the media and entertainment industry that are having a greater epiphany of where the country's headed. It's stemming from a broader realization that demonizing the other side is not going to work, because more likely than not, they're also operating from a good place in their heart. It's unfortunate that a panel like The View would fail to see that, and perhaps that's what is making them lose interest from a modern America that has decided to move on and look to bigger things as a nation.